close. How would you find out how many students are registered in each region? So you are going to display how many students, how many we can use the aggregate function count. From which table? From the student table. So how do you specify each region number? So you can use the where clause. We have already learned the where clause. Where region number is, if you know the region number, you can write region number is equal to 1, etc. like that. Okay, say for example, so we'll not need to use a separate query for each region. Like assume that we have 12 regions in the university database. Select count star as student in region 1 from student where region number is equal to 1. So you'll be able to see the total number of students registered in region 1. So let us see this in ISQL. Here you are able to see select count star, how many, as this is the rename operator, student in region 1 from student table where region number is equal to 1. So you can see here in region number 1, total 2 students are registered. Let me change 1 to 2. So this is in region number 2. You can see there are again 2 students registered in region number 2. Let me change this one into 3. So you can see here there are again 2 students registered in region number 3. That means you must repeat for each region. Suppose you have 12 regions, you have to repeat this query 12 times. A better way, we have a better way for this. Select region number, count star as number of students. See, we have seen in the previous examples, aggregate functions are always giving you a single value. But here, see, you are writing region number and count star together. Let's see why this is how this is possible. So from student table, we are using now the clause called group by region number. So you can see in region number 1, 2 students, region number 2 we have 2 students, region number 3 we have 2 students, region number 4 we have 5 students. Region 12 was not included because it has no students. There should be a row with 0 instead. So let me run this query here. So we are using a new clause called group by. So select region number of students. So count star will give you the total number of students as number of students. From which table? From student table, group by region number. So each group, actually in region number 1 we have total 2 students. Region number 2 we have again 2 students. Region number 3 we have 2 students. Region number 4 we have 5 students. Important conditions for group by. The columns that appear in a select clause in a group by query must be either a grouping column, that is, a column specified in the group by clause with the same value in every row of each row. Example, region number in the query group by region. Second condition, or a column contained within an aggregate function which result in one value for each group. Like for example, here you can see we are specifying region number in the select clause, and we are able to specify this one in the select clause because we are grouping by that the same attribute which is the region number, and the count star is giving a value, corresponding value for region number satisfies the conditions. Logical processing model, as usual, the initial specified tables. From create an intermediate table from all the tables specified in the from clause by forming all possible combinations of choosing one row from each table. Thus we have the first intermediate table, that means the Cartesian product, the data from both the tables. Now we have copy each row which satisfies the search condition specified in the where clause to create second intermediate table. We have the second intermediate table. Then we have the group by clause. Copy each of the rows in the second intermediate table into a third intermediate table, grouping them according to the values in the column specified in the group by clause. Thus, we have the third intermediate table. From as usual, the select will choose the required fields, and if it is an aggregate function is used, the result will be displayed in the final table. The third intermediate table looks like this. You can see here student IDs and region number. See, S22 is registered in region number 1, S38 is registered again in region number 1, and so on, you can see here. And region number 4, we have 5 students registered. This is group 1 and this is group 2. This is the group 3, and we have the group 4 finally. The final table is looking like this. Are the following 3 queries well formed? If not, why not? So we have the condition. I already discussed with you the conditions to be applied when we are using a group by clause. Select patient ID, minimum start date as first start date from treatment, group by patient ID. See, here you can see the patient ID is grouped by, used in the group by clause. And make sure the same thing is used in the select. Yes, it is used. The first condition is satisfied. And see, minimum start date. So is this aggregate function is going to give a result for each patient ID? Yes, we are going to receive the minimum earliest start date of the treatment. So this is a valid query. So let us run this one in ISQL. Let me disconnect this one using F12, and I will connect to the hospital database. To DBC and connect to the hospital database again. Click OK. So let me delete this one. Select patient ID, minimum start date as first start date from treatment group by patient. Let us see what is the result of this. You can see patient IDs and the earliest treatment start date along with the ID. Now let us run the second one now. Second one, whether it is valid or not, and see the select drug code, max price as max price from drug group by type. See, let's run the query. So the result is ISQL error, could not execute statement. Function column reference to drug name must also appear in a group by clause. So this is the error. As I told you, so the attribute or the column title appeared in the group by clause must appear in the select. So here we can see we are grouping by type, but it is not displayed in the select clause. So this is not a valid query. And third one, select type max price is max price. Count drug code as num of type from drug group by type. Yes, this will work because we have group by type and we have the type in the select clause, and we are using 2 aggregate function. The first one is the maximum price, and the second one we are using the total number of the count it is counting. Let's run this query and see the result of this. Here you can see type sedative. The maximum price is 0.21 and the number of types, there are 2 types. This is the result of the count and this is the result of the maximum price. We have an activity here, group by with where. For the courses with code C2 and C4, list the course code and the number of students enrolled on that course according to the enrollment table. So we need to use the enrollment table. So what is the question? The question says for the courses with code C2 and C4. So we have seen an operator called in. If you know the values of a particular column, like 1 or 2 or 3 values, you can always go forward in operator along with the where clause. List the course code and the number of students enrolled on that course according to the enrollment table. So you need to see the course code on that particular course enrolled, how many students are registered, especially in which courses C2 and C4. So you need to calculate how many. How many means you have to use what? count aggregate function. So what you're going to display? You're going to display the course code. And from which table? You're going to use the enrollment table. So because since they are only two values, you can use what in any operator to specify. And here you are specifying the course code. You have to group. It says that on that course, that particular course. So you must use a group by clause here. Make sure you are using the correct database. You make sure you have connected to the university database. Select course code, count student ID as number from enrollment table. The condition is course code in C2. So we need to see the result of two courses. First one was the C2 and the second one was C4. Group by course code. Let us see the result of the query. So you can see in course code C2, you can see total number of students registered as 5 students, and in C4 we have 5. Let me change the courses into, instead of C2, let me write C3 and say for example C5 and see what's happening. And from the result we know that in C3 we don't have any students registered for that course, and C5 total we have 3 students registered. So make sure the column name displayed in the select clause is used in the group by clause. Specifying several grouping columns. SQL treats all grouping columns as a single entry to be grouped. As before, all columns in the select clause must appear in the grouping clause. So if you are using more than one, for example, select student ID, comma, course code, count star as number from assignment table, group by student ID, course code. The order will be, first it will group by student ID, then it will be grouped by the course code. You can see here, select student, if we run this query and see the result. So you are getting, like for example, student ID is S5 and the course code registered and how many assignments, how many are there. So it says that 2. So it will be grouping. First of all, it will group by student ID, then course code. So we are using 2 columns in the group by clause. So make sure you are using the 2 columns in the select clause also. You can use more than one aggregate function in the select clause. The logic, the processing. Complete the following table by showing the order as written as logically processed of the 4 clauses. We are familiar with the 4 clauses: select, where, group by, and from. Written as written, we write always the first phrase. You can see this is the order we are writing. We usually write select, from, where, group by. This is the order we are using. But as logically processed, actually it's happening. First of all, as we have seen the logical processing, from clauses executed first, then it will check the condition. This is the where. Then if there is a grouping that is done, then finally the value selection and display the result. What will be the following query return? Select type, count drug code as number, sum price as total number from drug. The type in painkiller, antibiotic, group by type. So it is going to display the 2 type of antibiotic. List the total price and the number of items or number of drug items of antibiotic and painkiller only. So group by, what is the type? We are going to group by. So we know that this painkiller and antibiotic, these are what? These are the drug type. So you need to group by this, in order to receive the types, you have to group by the column type. So group by type. So at the same time, type should be displayed where the select clause. And how many, the count aggregate function will answer your question, how many, and the total is the sum, and you can always use the rename operator as to display the result. So the result is antibiotic, we have 3 numbers and the total price is 3.01, and the painkiller we have total 4 numbers and the total price is 0.22. You can practice this one and see. So here the same query is used, but instead of in, we are using the negation. So says the question says that use the hospital database to write and run a query that uses a table, uses the table patient to list for each ward number except ward W. So we have a keyword here except. So whenever there is an except, always remember we have to negation. So except, not included. This is not included. You can go for the not operator, not in W5 and W7. If this one is, if this except keyword is not there, you don't have to use not. It is looking for only W5 and W7, the number of patients who occupy the ward. So select ward number. It's written that for each ward. So we have for each ward number. So we need to group by ward number. So this is the keyword. It says in the question for each ward number. So group by ward number. So when you write the ward number here, you must display this ward number in the select clause. So how many? Of course, count star. From which table? From the patient table. What is the condition? We don't want W5 and W7. So we can eliminate where ward number not in W5, W7. So except that these two words, we will get the result. Let us see this one. Let us run this query and see the result. So make sure you are connected to the hospital database. Make sure the title shows hospital DB. So it says that select ward number count star from patient where ward number not in W5, W7. Group by one. Let's run the query and see the result. So it is not giving you W5 and W7. Let me remove this node from here and see what's happening. So now it is giving you only W5 because W7 is not there. That is why. So in order to remove, so not in W5, W7. If you want to see W2 and W4, for example, I need to see the result of W3 and W4. So I want only this two. So I can simply write in W2 and W4. So if we use not, so they will remove W2 and W4 and the remaining will be displayed. This is the result.